But the journey is really one of arriving for yourself and sort of saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back. I'm falling back into myself. I'm okay exactly as I am. How can I meet myself as much as I possibly can? And then the trick is to start connecting with your body. So we're talking about sexuality and we're talking about energy moving through the body and so on. So often sexuality, we would think of scenes or sexy things and outside things that are happening. But the true power comes in when you are authentic with yourself.
Hi there. Welcome to the Aligned Living Podcast. I'm your host, Kathleen Galatli, and I'm super excited to have you join us. In these episodes, we're going to have some heart-to-heart conversations with experts, everyday wellness enthusiasts, and, well, anyone with a story to share about their journey towards a more balanced and harmonious life. Welcome to the Aligned Living Podcast, where well-being meets wisdom, and the journey is just as important as the destination. Let's dive in. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Aligned Living Podcast. My name is Kathleen Galatli, and I am super excited to have you all here. So whether you are watching this on YouTube or whether you are listening to this on Apple or on Spotify, thank you for joining us. We are at episode 22, so really slowly climbing the little ladder. It's actually weird to think there are already 22 conversations that have been recorded, and going back in time, like, it's just been the absolute best. I still pinch myself that this is how I get to spend my time. It's really such an honor, and today is nothing less of that excitement of bringing someone into the Aligned Living community, a new friend, a new sister. We have Leán Bakker with us here today, fellow South African. We were just chatting about heritage now before we started recording. But I guess that's always the best place for us to start is, Leán, welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being willing to be here and share. I'd love for you to, introduce yourself. I always ask people to just share a little bit about where you're from, a little bit about your upbringing, kind of what has made you the Leán that you are today. And I know that's a loaded question, so whatever highlights come up, you feel free to share those.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much for inviting me and for inviting me to share. I think the big thing is that it is important for us to share whatever knowledge we get, and we all get little bits of different knowledge along our path, and it's good to share that with each other in love. So what am I sharing? Since 2019, I have been a sexuality coach, or I keep changing what I am. I call it an embodiment coach, a sex coach, a spiritual sex coach. I'm qualified as a voice movement therapy practitioner. So I work here in Cape Town. The best way to describe what I do is to say that I do tantra. I teach people the tantra principles, the sensuality of tantra, but I specifically don't teach the tantra philosophy, because I believe that what I had discovered, or I know what I discovered, I didn't discover through the path of tantra. And tantra is one of the paths, but not the only path. It's a good path, but it's not the only path. And I feel sometimes this whole tantra thing can pull people into a bit of confusion, as in, oh my word, now I have to learn about all these deities. I have to go to India before I get to this enlightenment, whereas it's actually so practical and so possible to do it with our modern day things that we are doing already, that we can attain this alignment, like you say, alignment within ourselves, with like the normal things we're already doing. And I did pretty normal things to find this, and I'm going to call it awakening. Awakening sounds like a very fancy word.
It is one of the woo-woo words, but until we find something better, we'll use awakening.
Yeah. So I had a massive sexual awakening in 2018 when I was 49 years old. And that is what propelled me to start working in sexuality. And I'm basically using the tools that I developed with voice movement therapy, but applying it to our sexual bodies. It's sort of like the simple way of connecting with the body. You don't have to believe in Shakti and Shiva and all those guys. You just have to connect with yourself. Okay. So maybe I must give you a bit of background about this awakening that I'm talking about. Because that's what I'm basing my work on. And because my body was in a certain state up until I was 49, then I had a drastical shift, and I had a sexual awakening. And people ask me, what's that sexual awakening? But it's the mechanics of that shift of what did I do in my body and what am I still doing in my body to experience this continuous, like, fun part, awakening. That's what I'm basically teaching my clients. So people ask me, like, okay, you had a sexual awakening. What does that mean? You know, does it mean I start running around making love to everyone? It's a very like, what is a sexual awakening? So for me, that sexual awakening was actually quite profound. I knew I needed to heal my sexuality. So I was on a healing path. Okay. But one day I was doing a meditation on the beach, and I was doing this physical meditation that I'd learned at a festival at the Spirit Fest store. Still learned it from Valentina Leo. This meditation called The Form. And I used to go on the beach and just do this thing. But I was actually just saying, like, God help me. I was in a very low space in my life. Wow. Just doing this physical meditation. And after I'd done it, I sat down on a rock on the beach, and my body started like shaking. Oh, I'm like, oh my word, I'm having orgasms like here in my heart, like pulsating through my body. I'm sitting on the beach. I'm like, oh my word, I'm having orgasms. Oh, geez, when I speak about it, I feel it again. But what the magnificent thing that happened in that moment is a window opened, a window of perception. And it was almost like I'd taken 10 grams of mushrooms, because everything became incredibly, heavenly beautiful. It became unbearably beautiful. Just the environment, nature just started crashing in like a kind of consciousness. And it was just getting more and more beautiful, just crashing in. And I realized my consciousness is not ready to perceive this amount of brilliance. And I made an agreement with what was happening. And I said, let this come in slow. And that was the beginning of this fantastic journey for me. And it has been teaching me from the inside. And I have been looking for ways to open this window again and again for longer periods of time, and to just receive that mystery of the brilliance of not always knowing how brilliant the possibilities are. It's aligning to something much greater than ourselves. And when I say it's a sexual awakening, is one of the benefits of this. I later learned I'd had a Kundalini awakening. I didn't even know that was happening. So I've gone further into that later. I mean, it's been a wonderful path. But one of the benefits of a Kundalini awakening, it's an internal body awareness awakening, is you start having full body orgasms. Now, after this body awareness awakening, I was making love and I started having full body orgasms, which is incredibly healing. I want to say transcendental. It's amazing. You can stay in orgasm for hours and hours. It's like so empowering. It's incredible. It's so empowering the moment you're in orgasm. And another big thing that happened, excuse me, and I was 49, I have to say to you, I was 49, is shortly after this awakening, the consciousness thing, then the full body, my vagina woke up. In the sense that she started feeling everything. She started orgasming, like so incredible. I started connecting with my orgasm, and she woke up and she started moving. And before that, she was just like this an orifice that I had. And suddenly she came to life. It would be like having a hand, and it's just like there, and people can touch the hand, but suddenly she could like move and she could participate and she could like move with and feel what was entering her and engage and dance with and grip and massage. And I was like, I didn't even know like this was possible. How can I, at the age of 49, I've never heard of this. When it first happened, I thought, okay, I think I'm losing, I think I've lost my mind. I thought I was going crazy. Or I thought I was being possessed by something. I was like, oh my word, something happened to me. Why? Like, either I'm the only person in the whole world that can feel this, because I've never heard of it, or everyone knows and no one's told me. I'm the only one that doesn't know it. I was like, I was so confused.
Best kept secret.
Best kept secret. I was so confused. And I was like, I need to shout this from the rooftops. But that's been very difficult to communicate because it's so intimate. It can be very intimidating if a person says to me, listen, or to a woman, listen, your vagina is orgasmic, as opposed to how everyone says, no, you can't feel anything in there. And actually, your vagina can move and you can have multiple orgasms. And how do you even start communicating that? It's quite tricky because it's so secret. And yeah, women don't know this about themselves. And I say that because I've been asking around. I ask all my friends, women I meet, like, does your pussy move?
Yeah.
And people just give me this blank look. So yeah, and that's also when I do yoni massages, I treat the yoni not like she's a wounded space. I treat her like, I know you're alive. You just need to be reminded in the right way. You know, and often men also don't realize that our vaginas can be this alive. So they don't even enter us expecting us to be alive. So it's a big story.
I mean,
I can go on and on and on and on and on about it.
If we don't even know it, how in the world are they supposed to know it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like it's a dance. It's a communication.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I feel like we could even like end the podcast right now, and we've given whoever's listening to this a lot to think about. I would be very interested to I'm going to go a little off script here, but with the work that you first did with voice and body connection and activation, and then going into this awakening, and where the womb, the vocal cords, the voice, all very connected, all a very big part of our creative journey. And I would love to hear a little more about how that shifted for you, and creativity in the sense of not just like maybe you started drawing or playing an instrument, but being the creator of your reality, and how maybe finding that deeper connection or that opening or that flow, how that changed things for you in how you started creating in your own life.
Okay, so there's sort of two parts to the question. The one is, I would put it in the like building up to the awakening and how that supports this energy alignment. And then once one has the energy alignment, how does one express differently after that, or how it is? I'm sort of seeing two parts there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I'm very lucky in the fact that I've always been a body person, because I was a professional dancer and a choreographer and a performance artist. So for me, like expressing through the body has always been very natural. And I was a very good and strong dancer. And I know why I was good at dancing is that I kept finding streams of energy flowing through my body. Like if I had to balance, I would like feel the energy shooting out my toe and my shoulder and align it like that to get the balance. Or if I had to do a dip upside down, I'd like align through my head and my tailbone. So that internal awareness already started developing from a very like young age. And that, like when I work with clients and we're going to wake up their kundalini, their full body orgasm vibe, it really helps if you've done yoga, chi-gong, things that align you with that body awareness of the lines of energy that move through your body. That is very useful. So yeah, just the simple physicality of it. Then the voice movement therapy. I'm so grateful for how the universe just aligns us to our purpose without us even knowing, because I actually wanted to study dance therapy and I couldn't find one. So then I was forced to do voice and movement. And I'm so glad that I got to add the voice, because what the therapy did, and looking back, I see that was key to this awakening. And it was an incredibly important component of me aligning with myself. So the path is always like, how can you align with yourself the most? So in the voice movement therapy, just on an emotional level, we were connecting with our emotional bodies, like expressing like, and like, and wailing and growling and whooping and just releasing, like being okay with the palette of colors that you are. Like you're a whole painting. You're not just, you know, everything. There's dark and light and squiggles and smooths. Anyway, so connecting with the emotional body is very important, because it develops a kind of, I'm okay with myself. I forgive myself. I accept my emotions. I forgive myself for my emotions. I can receive my own emotions and just allow them to be there, like hold a safe space within my body for them. So that was also very important, the emotional body. And then this thing of like, have you ever seen a picture of the vocal cords? When you Google vocal cords, you see them, you think you're looking at a pussy. When you see it for the first time. It's like, looks so much the same. And then learning to feel on the inside, like what does it feel like when I open and I relax? And what does it feel like when I contract? So even just bringing this awareness to the voice and the contract, and when am I like, and when am I like, more in my voice and opening, and that body awareness gets translated to what's happening in the pussy. I love saying pussy, in the yoni.
Go for it.
And we also became aware of this like vocal tract, which is this soft, malleable space that has resonance, and you can open it and deepen it into your body. And that's very much related to what the vagina would be doing, like and different tones and feelings that you get in there. And then another thing that helped me to really align and bring my awareness into the body, and that drew me closer to this like energetic Kundalini awakening, was placing the voice in the body and really concentrating. Okay, I'm voicing from the chest. I'm actually voicing emotions from the chest, sounds from the chest. I feel the vibration in the chest. And the whole focus goes on, what is it feeling like physically right now, physically and emotionally? You're switching on your chakra without even knowing it. And then voicing like from lower down and like really feeling it and the resonance and tick, 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 you're switching on the next chakra. And then voicing from even lower in the body and changing your postures just to like get to that chakra. You can even lie on your back, like get to that chakra, feel what it feels like, get the resonance from there. So that all aligns you with your being inside your body. And that is ultimately what I see as orgasm. Orgasm is you meeting yourself fully inside yourself. And also, it's not always pretty. It's got many voices, it's got many characters, and to be okay with those things that come out of you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to use this as a segue, because one of the things that I was going to ask for you to share a little bit more, because I know this is what you work with your online courses as well, is about the circulation of life force energy around the body and being more present by, in the moment, by tuning into that inner body. And I would love for you, perhaps, often in these conversations, I try and like pull us back a little bit to, trying to put this into words, perhaps someone who hasn't felt that before, or they're not sure, maybe they have, maybe they haven't. What is the inner body? Or if someone has not really gone there before, they haven't maybe practiced, yoga, let alone Kundalini practice. Where do you start? What is a simple, practical way where you can start to align or connect with that more subtle body or subtle energy?
Yeah. Okay. I agree. Make it practical and find that hook. And it's usually a reminder. When I have my clients in front of me, I know we're just looking for those little golden moments of reminding this person what they already know about themselves, like reminding them of those golden moments of connection that they did have, because we all have it in ourselves. So one can also look at it as almost like I'm not trying to attain something better and special, but I'm actually trying to remember something about myself. Like those moments when I had joy, when I felt like myself the most. And often people would say, oh, I really love it when I write my poetry, there's like this feeling that I get, aliveness that I get. Okay, that aliveness. That's one pointer. Or people would say, I was riding my bike once and I felt the wind go through my hair and I just felt like those are all those little pointers, or when I'm floating in the ocean or whatever, or swimming. So that's one place to look for it. Okay. Now, another thing, how to connect with the inner body. This is why I love working with other women, because they would sometimes share their little aha moment, and that helps me to translate a bit better. So I was with a friend the other day and we were playing with connecting with the energy. And she said, yeah, actually, you're going to use your imagination. And then you're just going to imagine it's there. Feeling the inner body. So sometimes you will just imagine you feeling the inner body. Like you can use your imagination where you imagine there's a light shining in your heart space, and try to feel what that light would feel like. Then you think, very faint, maybe I'm imagining it, maybe it's true, maybe not. It's true. Okay. Then you give it your attention. And the more you give it your attention, this inner body is actually awareness of self.
Take a breather and explore the Align Living on-demand video library, along with our exclusive membership perks. Plus, our YouTube channel is already up and running, offering even more wellness content. Your path to holistic living is just one click away. Visit our website to learn more. And now, let's return to our inspiring discussion.
Another way to do it is, say for instance, you want to feel this energy body. Yeah, you can touch your throat. You touch your throat and you think, I can feel that. Okay, I can feel this touch. I have a perception, an awareness. Now, take your hand away and become aware of the memory of the touch. I'm giving it my awareness. And then I can even give it my awareness. The more awareness I give it, it almost starts feeling like it's like tingling a little bit. And that is the awareness. It's very subtle in the beginning. And the more you go, okay, this is real, I am feeling it, even though it's subtle, the stronger it becomes. And then you can even use your imagination. You just imagine that moving up to this area. And it does. It goes up. So you are starting to build the neural pathways of this inner connection. And it's all about this inner body connection, the deep meditation into the body. So let me just get back to the question to make sure that I'm answering enough. You say, to get in connection with the energy body, what tips can we give for someone who's starting? So often we feel inadequate. We look at other women. They're like, I'm having full body orgasms. I'm the goddess. And like, this is so wonderful. And I'm sexually liberated. And you feel, oh my word, how am I going to get there? I have to change my name. I have to start wearing specific clothes and go to India and so on. It's very unattainable. Or I want to have this snake awaken in me. This thing must come and enter me. But the journey is really one of arriving for yourself and sort of saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back. I'm falling back into myself. I'm okay exactly as I am. How can I meet myself as much as I possibly can? And then the trick is to start connecting with your body. So we're talking about sexuality and we're talking about energy moving through the body and so on. So often sexuality, we think of scenes or sexy things and outside things that are happening. But the true power comes in when you are authentic with yourself and you go, actually, I'm not feeling it right now. Could even be a step one. Or I'm just to start recognizing exactly what you're feeling. Oh, I'm feeling a contraction now. Oh, I'm feeling an expansion now. How can I just arrive for myself more and more and more? Be authentic. Did that answer the question, you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's really, really, really profound, beautiful words.
There's actually one more thing that I can say that can be a hook. Okay, so we're speaking about sexuality and this energy moving through the body, and a lot of us are connected to our genitals, right? Or even to the clitoris. Great access point, like a little doorbell. It's a doorbell. We've got an on button here, and think, okay, so this is an on button of super awareness because I can feel a lot there. Okay. Then we go, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? What is that sensation, that buzz? What's that buzz? What's like in my body? What am I feeling right there? Like, even if you just think of that stimulation, that sexual arousal, it's like the electricity just goes up a little bit. I'm feeling it up my spine as I'm saying it. So then you can start practicing. And in my one online course, I have this thing, and I actually made a video where you imagine like your sexual organs are like a little pot of golden paint. It's got this awareness of this like electricity, this buzz, this gold, this like yumminess. But now you can use your hands in the beginning. Either when you're with yourself or with your lover. I want to sit up and show you where you basically gonna start, you sort of access that golden buzz, aliveness, and then you start experimenting and you go, okay, that golden buzz, I feel what it feels like. Can I move it? Can I move that awareness a little bit up my body? Yeah. Oh my word, we can all do it. And then can I move that awareness like to my heart? It's really an internal thing where my sex is not any scene or someone else that I'm thinking about, but I'm like, what's happening in my body? Okay, so then I have that gold and I can start playing with it. And women, it is super fun if you take it all the way to your head and like past your head, just like experiment with it.
Yeah.
And that's often a good entry point.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I often say even just with when I'm teaching my yoga asana practice and we, even if we're in a group and in general, it's mostly women in my groups and, something like a very basic self massage where you start to learn to be able to touch yourself with compassion. I think for most people, let alone trying to go into any kind of, higher frequency or sexual vibration or to tap into that, to simply be able to touch yourself with love, is like, it's so huge. So I try and say to my clients all the time, when you're on your yoga mat, like if you're doing your lymph pats and your lymph drainage or self massage, like, get into your toes, into your joints, work your way up your legs, like get into your body, feel when last did you look at your elbow, like when last did you feel under your armpits. And it's for me, and I only say this because for me it has been through the journey of really going inwards and feeling into my body that I feel like any kind of change has happened, whereas my whole life up until I guess probably about 10 years ago, which I guess a lot of people would laugh to be like, that's not such a long life, Kathleen, but my awareness really up until that point was all outside, 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 outside. And what I really love about most of everything that you've said today is that you've probably named bringing in a partner like twice. The rest of your conversation of intimacy and sex and that energy and that connection has all been internal and with self. And I know for me, that's a journey that I walk on, that a lot of my sisters walk on, is it all has to start from within you, from your point. And you need to find, there is the saying where like, it's when they say like, you can only love someone else as much as you love yourself. And it's not really, I think it's so much deeper and more profound. The saying is truly about this, like, there can only be this acceptance of, I think, being with another if there is an acceptance and a safety of being with yourself. And perhaps, I don't know if you have anything to reflect on that, but I just wanted to share that. So thank you for everything you've shared.
I am so with you on that one, sister, is the connection and the empowerment, the connection to self and the empowerment that we find through that. Because I believe our empowerment as women is our absolute connection with ourselves. And I have this online course, The Pleasure of Full Body Orgasm, where it's for women and their partners. It's a 6-week course. And the first 4 weeks, I work with the women to teach them to connect to themselves. And then only the last 2 weeks, I bring the guy in and then help the woman to stay connected with themselves while they are with their partner. Yesterday, I had a couple here working with me, and the woman said to me, "Oh, my husband keeps saying to me, I must be the goddess and I must be the seductress, and like what is that? And can you explain that?" And I said, "Okay, yeah, um, we are the goddess. The men are the gods. Okay, we are all gods." But what does being a goddess mean? Being a goddess means being able to connect with the divinity of yourself. And you are so right by saying connect with your own body. So whenever I really recommend this, this is something that I do for myself, and when I make love, is I would always say to the guy or whoever I'm with, I need to connect with myself first. Just give me a moment to step into my power. And what I do then is I would close my eyes, I would breathe, and I would really feel my body. And sometimes I would even like start making love to myself so that I'm like totally in my bliss state before I approach my partner, so that I feel like I'm here all my life. I feel everything. Like I know exactly where my pleasure is.
Mm, mm,
And I know exactly how to access it in myself. And the empowered feminine comes to her lover not out of need. She does not
mm,
need her lover. She comes at 100% presence and full orgasm in herself. So like she knows how to access it 100%. She
mm,
arrives, she is like in connection with the divine life force essence within herself. She's done her work, she's done her homework, she's done her yoga, her breathing. She knows how to connect. Often she is, and that is the goddess. Now, the temptress I see as the seducer is her ability to connect to the divine. Men are often in their heads, and it's
mm,
sometimes easier for us to go in our bodies. Let's just say man-woman connection. It doesn't have to be like you come to. Often we would seduce the goddess, just her pure presence in her own body would be the invitation to presence. That is the seduction. And then
mm,
she leads her or holds space for her lover to also be in their body. And she actually expects them to be in their
mm,
God essence. Like switch yourself on. Like be on when you're with me. I'm on. And
mm,
now I don't expect my partner to make me orgasm. My partner is simply going to hold my orgasm. Like
mm.
I don't need them. But if they are there and I can surrender that little bit deeper because someone's holding this orgasm for me, I can have a much more fantastic orgasm with partner. But I don't like it's not on them.
Mm, mm. Sure. Oh, I think we have lost you for a
Then
moment.
there we go. You're back.
Oh, you back. Oh,
Boom.
no, we got everything. Thank you. That, yeah, like that was so well said and so like beautifully articulated. I often find, these things can be so hard to articulate in language. There's often like you feel like the words are not there to describe it, and you did such a beautiful yeah, that was really, really, that really got me. So thank you. And
Oh
and
no,
I'm gonna use that again as like the little segue to take us into, you were saying this is one of the things that you do. I would love for you to perhaps share another tool or two or three of your, again, your practical magic that you maybe use day to day, whether it is for you to connect more to yourself, to align, to ground, to clear your energy, Are there specific, tools or practices that you have as ritual that you feel are quite accessible for other women to perhaps try?
Okay, so I think I'll give one tool for sex and then some tools for life.
Perfect. Perfect.
The one tool for sex, if you want to connect with your body more and feel more pleasure and just start this journey, this one phrase, how much can I feel? Just keep going back to that. If you're in a moment, you're making love and you think, oh my word, I'm not going to orgasm. I don't know if it's going to work this time. Go back, center in your body and ask yourself, how much can I feel right now? That question takes you into incredible depths, physically for the pleasure, but also on a psychological or a spiritual level, that how much can I feel takes us into the deep consciousness of the body, which is the deep consciousness of I am not actually this body. I'm past this body. I am awareness through this body, but through the feeling body, the simpleness, the simplicity of the feeling body, the inner body, we go into pure awareness. And we simply go, how much can I feel? And that takes us through all those layers of emotions, of releasing our trauma, etc. So how much can I feel? Very beautiful journey to go on. Okay. Then I have been doing magic meditations in nature, and I want to recommend that to anyone, where I'm just figuring this out for myself, but without sitting there and wanting to manifest this and manifest that. Geez, the most amazing magic has just come into my life by magic. By sitting in nature, and while I'm in nature, to connect to my body, to just connect to the wind on my skin, the sun. Like, again, what can I feel? How much can I feel right now? Like I'm a little organism. It's like a little amoeba sitting there. I'm just like a little physical thing. I just go completely physical, and I feel my spine, and I feel my hands, and I feel my feet, and I feel my heart. And just sitting like that in nature connects one to the universal flow of life force. And it just aligns you to something that's much bigger than ourselves. And it's been magic. I've been like flabbergasted, and it's particularly strong in nature. These meditations one can do at home and so on, but in nature they are super magic. And then the third thing is, and this has also been a coincidental blessing, where I did a Kundalini awakening weekend with this one guy. And then after we came home, we were like, wow, we did such amazing things, like in the meditation and in the workshop, but what now? And then we started this, like, we call it life force accountability partners. And then we figure out in our own, like, stumbling ways, like, how do we live with this stuff? Because it's such profound work that we're doing, and orgasms and stuff, and full body orgasms and Kundalini, but can we take it into life? So it's actually quite cool having a partner that's on the same path. Then you share like little successes, like, okay, today let's do, before we get out the car, we're just going to sit and we're going to ground and connect to our heart and feel this internal aliveness. And then when we walk out into the shopping mall, we're going to see if we can maintain that. And it starts transforming. Or while I'm driving, I'm just going to connect to my inner body. And it's been such a blessing of aligning one to just life force. One starts noticing how the mind wanders all over the place. It brings one into presence. So yeah, with this stuff, to say we don't just only do it in the bedroom. We don't only do it in the yoga studio, or only in meditation. I think the purpose of all this work is to enrich our lives, and we take small actionable steps every minute. And sometimes we wander off, and sometimes we come back, but small actionable steps that we can take all the time to align ourselves. And I just see it as to the body, because the body brings this still awareness. So if I'm in the queue in the supermarket, can I feel my body? It just centers me. Before I do something, you did such a beautiful thing before the call. Let's just center ourselves in our bodies. It just brings us into presence. So yeah, just anchoring oneself in the body all through the day. Really
Beautiful. It's in the end, it's like, Loka Samasta is just, may all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute to the happiness and the freedom of all. And I think, what we do today really matters for what comes tomorrow. And it is what I heard this beautiful someone was telling a story the other day, and the way that they put it in words was something like, we keep holding on to the future, we keep holding on to the past because we're attached to the memories, and we're so excited to meet the future, yet every time it almost arrives at us, it disappears, and all we're left with is the present moment. And so this future that we get so attached to, that we want to exist, that doesn't exist, just comes to be the present moment. So just living in that present moment and being aware of, what are my sensations, my thoughts, my feelings, how, like all of that. And just, again, like you keep saying, like this awareness. And if awareness, or, mindfulness, as they call it, is not something that you've practiced that often, if you're listening to this conversation and you're like, whoa, my mind is like blown, like where do I even start, like these things are like feel quite intense for me, like I've never gone that in depth with myself, is just simple little things, like Leán said, now, like actionable steps where maybe first thing in the morning, it's you just, as you sit in bed, you put your hand on your heart and you take 3 to 5 breaths. And you do that for a month and just notice what changes, because something will change. It is inevitable. I would love for you, I feel like everything you've said is like the explanation to the answer to this question, but if you shortened it, what is an aligned life to you, or what does an aligned life look like to you or feel like for you?
Okay, so I'm so glad that it seems like one can access consciousness through the body. And I'm like, yay, thank you. Because I've been busy with my body all life. I'm like, wow, that's simple. So for me, it's just keep aligning to this inner vibration in the body. It's simple, it's childlike, it's just presence. So living an aligned life is just being present with this inner life force vibration. And I mean, we all have lives. We haven't arrived. Just forgive oneself. Like, it's not perfect. It's okay. It's okay like it is. It's okay like it is. I think also just to forgive oneself. Like, it's okay. We haven't arrived. It's fine. Come back to that. Just keep aligning to this vibe, the vibe. May the force be with you. Like this, just align to the vibe, the inner vibe. And then just trust and yeah, and I think we sometimes think one day, we're gonna just like be enlightened, or everything's gonna be perfect. It's just gonna carry on like it is, but we're just gonna sort of feel okay about it, I think.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
knowing that
I'm okay.
it will most likely get more difficult and harder at times, and
Yeah.
then potentially, who was I having this conversation with? I was having a conversation last night with a friend of mine, and I was saying to him how, sometimes I really wish that I could just be like, I don't know, like a little lady somewhere who's like content with like doing the small things, baking the cookies, not thinking about the bigger things, not, just, and he said to me, well, what's so wrong with that? He was like, maybe one day that will be you. And contentment, which
Mm,
has been like such a big thing that I've been working with, and it's actually been like I've been channeling it for my clients quite a lot, which to me is like, okay, mirror, thank you very much. I clearly need to be looking at this.
mm,
Um, and to really try and find that contentment through acceptance of who you are right now, because the version of you that you are right now is a combination of, we all know, of the way you've been brought up, epigenetics, we can go back past lives, the culmination, the magic of what you are and what you create, what you are created of is debatable in many different systems and beliefs. But the truth is that you are here and this is you now. And so
mm,
what do you do moving forward? And all that you can do is just be in the 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 contentment of now, and the contentment that does not mean pleasure, that does not mean I have to be euphoric and high vibe, and like you said, like now I have to like change my name and be exotic, or like whatever the case is, like,
yeah.
in air quotes, like boring old you is actually just fine. Like, that is where the magic really happens.
Yeah, yeah, but I think as we can find ourselves in grooves, and we can lift ourselves out those grooves. But it starts with just that self acceptance and that forgiveness of self, of like just work with what you have.
Mm.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah,
I need to go back and listen to this whole conversation, because I felt like, okay, like after this recording, I've got like so much to do. Like I do have a meeting coming up in a little bit, but you know what? I'll get some admin done. And now I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna go and like sit in my garden and do some journaling and just let like all the stuff from this conversation actually just like really sit with me and flow with me. So yeah, just from my heart to yours, thank you. The fact that I get to share this conversation with, all other women in the world is just an extra blessing. If women want to get in touch with you, we will put everything in the show notes. But just
mm,
while I've got you here, what's the best way to communicate with you? Where can they find more information on your work, etc.?
yeah. I think best to go to is my website. I've got a leanbakker.com website where you can see some of my art and stuff, which is fun, but also the sexuality stuff. And then I've got a dedicated sexuality website, which is called conscioussexuality.net.
Mm.
We'll put that. I think a website is best. There's a whole lot of videos. I've got 172 videos on YouTube, and but there's links to all of that. Lots of
Amazing.
free info.
Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. So we'll put everything in the show notes. Um, yeah, big thank you to you for joining us. Thank you so, so much. That was incredibly valuable, and I think that there are going to be so many women who resonate with this conversation and who've heard just one tiny thing that, like you only need to hear it differently from one person for you to remember it. Like you were saying earlier, like
Yeah.
these things, you're just remembering them when you maybe
You
hear
remember?
it in a different way.
Yeah, you go.
Um,
That makes sense. Yeah, I resonate. I resonate. Yeah, and that's why we
oh,
have so many different voices. Like each one of us um find find that resonance with the people that we resonate with, and that's why it's nice to have various women to speak to. And I really value being able to speak to you and to your audience as well. And thank you for opening that avenue of communication. I'm really, really, really grateful for it.
thank you very, very much. And I feel like this is only the beginning of a brand new sisterhood and really growing this community. So Thank you to everyone who listened or who watched. If you only listen to this, I can also highly recommend that you jump onto YouTube and watch these interviews, because sometimes there are like some explanations, demonstrations, facial expressions that you don't want to miss. So pop on to YouTube if you're always listening on Spotify. But otherwise, if you've loved this, please, as always, like, share, subscribe, comment. Send this to a woman who you feel might benefit from this, would benefit from this, or perhaps a woman who you're like, I know for a fact that she's never heard any of this being spoken about. Send it to her, give it as a little gift, and then tell her to get in contact with us for any questions. But thanks so much, everyone. Wishing you all a beautiful day further. Bye, Dankie. Leán, that was amazing. Appreciate it so
Dankie. Lots
much.
of
And yeah, thanks everyone. And I will see you all on the next episode. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Aligned Living Podcast. We hope you found inspiration, insight, and a fresh perspective on your journey towards holistic well-being. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Remember, your feedback fuels our mission to bring you valuable content that aligns with your life. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, and feel free to reach out with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. We would love to hear from you. But until next time, take good care of yourself, embrace the present moment, and remember, you are your own healer. Thank you for being a part of our community. Goodbye for now.